bitches.
Make the ground shake.
I heard that shit from the other side of my house. What the fuck? Good morning. Morning, Dan. Morning, Papa T. Morning, Ivy. Actually, I'm not too sure what time it is for you. Some obscure hour of the morning, I think. How's everybody doing? I'm doing okay. It's 4 AM. Oh my goodness. Definitely obscure hour of the morning. I think I'm speaking too softly for this thing to detect. Let me see. That should be a bit better. Feeling a bit better? Nice. Have you been resting or have you been working through the sickness? Because I know some people do that. Which obviously is not a good thing. You took the day off yesterday? Nice. How are you doing, Ivy? Why are you awake at 4 AM? I definitely never stay awake until 4 AM. Couldn't be me. So today's gonna be a bit of a shorter stream. For those of you who don't know, or I guess even those of you who do know, we're currently in stage 6 again, which is mega suck. Our power is off for 11.5 hours a day. And that's every day. So my stream times are probably going to be a little bit wacky. I'm not going to have a schedule up this week because honestly I don't know what's happening. I don't know how long we're going to have stage 6 for, how it's going to affect things. Also just feeling very sad panda at the moment, so you know, dealing with some shit. Just dealing with some stuff. Oh my goodness. Are you waiting at the airport? Or are you going to the airport, Ivy? Damn. Hi Lich, how are you? So yeah, basically half my day, no electricity. The other problem is that almost since they started doing stage 6, it takes them like an extra half hour to an hour to actually turn my power back on, and I'm just like, wow. I hate you guys. So yeah, it's supposed to be 11.5, but it's much longer than that. Where is the patch redeem? I'll be honest with you, I paused it a while ago and then forgot to unpause it, so let me go and fix that. I'll do that now. I'm doing okay, Lich. You're waiting at the airport, it's too early. It is too early, Ivy, my god. I don't think I don't think you could pay me enough money to sit in the airport at 4 AM. That shit is awful. I always forget where I need to do this to change the redeems. Also, hi Jack, how are you? It's your channel points. Did I pause it or I can't remember what I did actually. Where there and then did this one, I think.
2 hours later.
Onigiri. What else? I think that was all of the... because the other ones are for the other app. I definitely should have added a idiot sandwich for this one. I think that one could have been good as well. Oi! Why are you like this? You wanna sleep? Your brother? Definitely gotta get there then. Sorry to hear, Ivy. But thank you for the head pats and the lich of throwing things at my face. Much appreciated. Alright. Yeah, looks like everything is sorted. Alright. I don't really know what I'm gonna play today. I thought about doing the other side of, what is it called? Broken Age? Because we started that the other day and then I had to skedoodle. I'm not too sure how far into the game I am. I don't think it's a very long game, to be fair. But can definitely... So I was thinking of playing that and then... actually, when is my power even coming back? Oh, it should be back at 12. So I think I should be able to play Broken Age. I think it's a lighter game on my computer. And then I might switch to Warframe later. I have some story. I have buttloads of story to do actually, so I might I might do that as well. But I'll see how it goes. If people put it there, I throw. That's also fair. That's fair. It is there for it to be used after all. So yeah, that is my half-assed plan for today. Was see if I can finish off Broken Age and then look at Warframe, because God, I feel like there's too much to catch up on and I have no idea where to even begin. But a lot of the things that I want to do are tied behind story, but the story was tied behind building something. So first I had to go build something, which is now built, and then I have to do the story so I can do the next thing. Because yeah, they kind of, I don't think they used to do it in the past. They used to just let you go about and do your own thing, but now it seems a bit more stuff is kind of like gated behind, okay, you must progress past this point in the story, you need to have finished this quest before you can do this thing. You just finished moving? Oh my goodness. Gonna be lurking, no worries, Jack. I hope you have a great day. Hello, motherfucker. What's poppin'? Don't mind me just watching. It feels like it's been a long time since I saw you, Daddy, but I hope you're doing well. Thanks for the lurkies, Jack. Also, hi, Grim Pixie.
What's poppin'? Don't mind me just watching.
Thank you. I hope you're having a lovely day. Well, I mean, the day has just begun, to be fair, but yeah. Warframe is grind simulator? Definitely. It is an MMO after all. MMOs be all about that. Oi! MMOs be all about that grind, you know. What is this thing doing? Ah. I broke something. This is fine. This looks like a problem for another day when I actually have power to fix it. Hi JP! Oh, thank you for the spam! Sending you all the hugs and loves today. Much support. Thank you so much, JP. I really appreciate that. I think I'm mostly doing okay. It's just like the little things when you notice. Like I was chopping cucumber earlier. And Sky loved cucumber. He would always come and stand, like he would hear the chopping board and be like, oh, it's my time to shine. Garbage disposal. Reporting for duty. And I'd always cut off like a really big piece for him. So yeah. The house feels empty. Thanks, Dan. There's no one to greet in the morning. I would always like walk out of the bedroom and he would be there. Up here to uplift. Thank you, JP. Sorry guys, I don't want to cry on stream. No cry. He was a good boy, he had a good life. And also I've had no coffee this morning, so you know. My not saying I'm addicted to coffee or anything, but a warm drink does wonders for the soul. But the power should be back probably in like an hour or something, so yeah. I have a teeny tiny little like almost like a camping stove kind of thing that I could make something on, but it's such a schlep. It's so much work. So I have an energy drink sitting next to me that Ray thought I would like. It's like it's passion fruit flavored, and I fucking love passion fruit. Holy shit. Like passion fruit flavored things. I don't know if I ever told you guys about that. I'm probably sure. I'm almost sure that I did. The passion fruit cheesecake from McDonald's. Hello motherfucker.
What's poppin'? Don't mind me just watching.
Hope you're doing well, kiddo. Sorry. No, thank you for the hugs, Ivy. Hugs to you as well. And hugs to Luna when you see him. Hi V! I'm doing okay. How are you? You love it with a passion? Truly I do. Oh my goodness. Passion fruit lemonade. If I ever go out to eat, passion fruit lemonade. Ray doesn't even need to ask me anymore. He just orders. He knows. What make is it? The energy drink, it's play. I've never had play before, but Ray got it because it's passion fruit. He's like, oh, you know, might as well try something new. But the passion fruit cheesecake, it's a McFlurry. Oh, I don't know if they still have it because it's always a limited time thing, but best ice cream. Well and truly best ice cream. It's okay to just feel how you need to. Yeah. Gotta allow yourself to be you. It's difficult, JP, because it feels like I've been like in mourning for a long time because I knew it was going to happen. It just happened a lot sooner than I was expecting. I thought it would be closer to the time when we moved to Cape Town, which is still a few months away. But maybe it's better that it happened now, so that I'm not dealing with everything at the same time. So it sucks for that reason. Thank you for the hug, B. I am mashed potatoes now. I love passion fruit with a passion. It's so good. Eating it a bit less so, but the flavor of it's really nice. Eating it's a bit of a pain, I think. Buying 4 of those drinks is always a good time. I try not to drink too many energy drinks. My heart be a bit wonky sometimes, so I have energy drinks every now and then simply because they taste nice. Yeah, it's kind of the same for coffee. Haven't been drinking tea as much because for some reason it's been giving me heartburn and I'm just like, why the betrayal? Were you gonna do anything in particular on stream? So the plan was maybe to finish Broken Age because I started that last week, and then maybe Warframe. It depends on, you know, how quickly I finish the other game, Broken Age. Also, if I miss any messages, apologies, there's nothing personal. Also, Daddy, I just got the joke now. Hope you're needing it. Oh, Ivy, sorry to hear that. I hope everything's okay though. You don't like the texture? Yeah, the texture... I don't mind the texture so much. It's more the little seeds that I don't like. It's a bit yucky. Oh, hi Sethels. Thank you for the biddy. I hope you're doing well. But yeah, I think, so I'm gonna have my chat open on my phone, so I'm probably gonna be even worse at responding to chat than I was before.
The_Sack screamed 100 biddies.
Thank you for the biddies. But yeah, I'll be reading chat on my phone just because we are currently in load shedding. It should only be like an hour or so. Hopefully not longer, to be fair. It has been kind of bad lately. Oh, I heard the sound again on my phone. Thank you guys again for those biddies. Alright, just gonna pin this message. I'll leave it up for an hour. I don't know if it's necessary. You can only do 30 minutes? Oh, fuck off. God damn it, Twitch. Just sort your shit out. Yeah, so if I do miss any messages, it's not personal, I promise. I just have load shedding to deal with, you know? You know how it be sometimes. Anyway. Let us get the beginnings on the Broken Age. I say beginnings, but actually we've started it already. We are doing kind of like the second route of this game. Is it? Oh shit. It did this shit the other day, hold on. This game be misbehaving. It kind of like hijacks everything and just leaves my screen blank, and I'm like, bro, please be serious. Thank you for the onigiris. They kind of I messed up my... I messed up something. There we go. That should be fine. Thank you for the head pat. Stage 6 is crazy. It really is. You have 30 minutes till you can load. I don't know, 5 hours. Oh damn, that's a pretty long flight. Load shafting? Truly load shafting. They're fucking everything up, man. It's so frustrating because, like, I feel like the people who have any say and any power in it aren't affected by it anyway, so... It's so annoying. It's so very, very annoying. But yes, we do what we can with what we have, right? You're on the other side of the... Ah! I see. I'm not very knowledgeable about about the US, all the different states and such. When I think of America, it's just a very large blob of a country. That's all I see. Alright. So hopefully it lets me... Nope. This game is so needy. It's so frustrating. It doesn't let me tab out to anything else. It is working though. Okay, well, perfect. 10 out of 10. Hopefully it continues to work. But like the second I open it, if I try to tab to anything else, my whole computer just goes blank and I'm like, wow, thanks guy. But anyway. The coal is wet. Ah, stop peeing on it. Yeah. Someone must be peeing on it because ain't no way there's no tops in this country.
She says it's a humidifier, but I think it's some sort of mind control device. Either way, it's dead now.
Young
Took away
Carl,
its food source.
You must come see me right away.
Oh my god, that gave me a fright.
Another distress signal has arrived.
But yeah, like the wet coal excuse. And it's sunny as fuck today, so they must stop their shit. Oh, you also see it as a big blob? Yeah, I feel like there's just too much. America's just way too big. And, you know, living at the bottom of Africa, it's, we're seen as a big blob as well.
Any luck?
No, still locked out of the controls.
A lot of people don't know South Africa is a country.
Any luck with the ship's
So
controls?
yeah, it is what it is.
No, but we intercepted a new distress signal, this time from Prima Doom.
Oh, I just realized I still have music playing. Is this game gonna let me tab out? Because this game's got pretty good vibes. Gonna get coffee? Yeah, hell yeah. Have a sip of coffee for me, please, Ivy. So this is called Broken Age V. I'm gonna say this now, it is very strange, but it's one of those like point and click story games. There's like the past and the future. It's a country? Dan. Please be serious. Yeah, so we did a thing in the past. At least that's what it seems like. Like the one half of the story's in the past and some girl so she lives in a little like village, and you know, every 14 years they pick a child to get sacrificed to this, I don't know, sea creature god thing. And she's like, no, why don't we fight back? Why do we let this thing eat kids every 14 years? And so she tries to escape her fate. Yeah, that part of the story was... Ah, oh, thank you, Joggin. Also, you should be asleep. But thank you. So yeah, that side of the story is very interesting. This side of the story, we wake up as a boy on a spaceship, and there's a computer that he calls mom, and or that acts as his mother, and every day it feeds him, and then she takes him on missions, but all the controls are like baby toys. And the missions he has to do, the one is like he eats a mountain of ice cream to save someone. The other one is like he has to go and rescue some aliens from an attack, but it ends up being like a hug attack. That's why I say it's weird. You're not here, you just wanted to see your friend? Okay, that's fair. The mountain of ice cream. So yeah, now this boy he was like, nay, something's odd. And there's this other, like, wolf character, fox, I don't know what he is exactly. And he's taking us on different missions. So yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I don't really
How are we
know.
going to get control of the ship's cargo boom arms?
A lot
You
of
need
this
to
game
attempt
left
a
me very
manual
confused.
override.
I'll say
The
that much.
manual boom arm controls are located here. You can get to them through the ship's airlock here. I've hacked the airlock door so you can now open it without alerting the Overmother.
You've seen him? You can go now. Alright, enjoy. Sweet dreams, friend. It does look a bit like him, yeah. But yeah, I think it's quite nice. Like, it's just a chill game to play.
How are we going to take down the shields?
I have a plan. The shields require so much power, they have a dedicated source. This fusion orb. Take this Omicron inhibitor and place it over the fusion orb. And when the time is right, we'll turn it on and turn off the fusion orb.
Along with the ship's shields. Got it. The distress call was from Prima Doom? How do we get there?
It's a
Same
pretty
as
good game.
always, take this star chart to the Space Weaver and hope for the best.
Like, as weird as it's been and as difficult as some of the puzzles have been, like, I've really enjoyed playing it. I think it's also a pretty old game.
So, how long have you been living in here?
I am a recent stowaway. I came because I sensed you were ready.
Oh, he is a wolf.
Are you really a wolf?
No, I wear this disguise to blend in with your other stuffed animal friends.
Weird. So, that's a wolf suit? What are you underneath?
I am what I do. A rescuer of creatures in need. Just like you.
What?
Why do I have to be the one to choose who to rescue?
A boy your age just has good instincts for the job.
Okay.
I'd better get back to the mission.
Yes, our window of opportunity won't last forever.
I think I should give that to the Space Weaver.
Good job.
We need to go here right away. Prima Doom!
Negative.
Do you have Game
That
Pass?
system
I
is
don't.
due to likelihood of hostile activity.
Instincts? Yeah. I feel like
But
there's
it's an
something dodgy
emergency.
about the wolf.
Sometimes safety is the most exciting adventure of all.
Uh-oh.
Might I suggest somewhere safer, like Puppy Planetoid, Cozy Cluster, or maybe somewhere in the Smile system?
So you see, like... So some parts of the ship look very weird. Like there's a big old smiley face over here. This guy looks like he's made out of like... I mean, he's called the Weaver, I think. There's like rope everywhere. I don't know, man. A lot of it's very trippy.
No way! I have to go to Prima Doom right now. Lives depend on it.
I'm sorry, young master, but my programming won't allow it.
Forget it. If we can't go to Prima Doom, I don't want to go anywhere.
Please don't be angry, young sir. If I could override this directive, I most certainly would.
Son, I'm not sure it's safe enough for you to leave your room.
Tired of being a prisoner in my room. I'm sick of being a prisoner on this ship.
I know, son. I know it's hard. You've given up so much. Listen, I'd like to tell you a story. A story of another person your age. A young girl. She wanted to live a normal life, but she was chosen. She was honored with a special duty.
Ooh.
Some people would call it a sacrifice, But what she didn't realize at the time was that it was a great honor.
Please. I've heard the story of the sacrifice girl a million times. I know the ending. The sacrifice girl is you, right?
What I'm trying to tell you is that
What?
I made a hard choice, but I regret nothing because
Great story, computer. I'm sorry they programmed you with someone's sad memories, but I have to go.
you know the truth deep down, son. And I know you'll appreciate my words someday.
What?
Brother.
So the sacrifice girl that they're talking about there is the past part of the story that we
Yes,
played
madame.
before.
Computer, were you aware that the universe was at war and that helpless creatures are being terrorized by ruthless tyrants?
Ooh, that sounds like a fun new game. I'll talk to the Yarn Pals and get that set up for the next round of missions. Would you like that?
Never mind. Computer, what's the point of all this?
Son, you know how important Operation Dandelion is. Our home, Loruna, was dying, so we set sail in the Bassa Nostra to travel the universe and find you a new home.
Why haven't we found a new home yet?
Well, the universe is a big place, and it has to be perfect for my baby.
Is there anybody else on this ship?
It's just you, me, and your father, of course. Oh, are you feeling lonely? I could knit you some new friends.
So, you've never seen a strange
Gonna be looking
wolf
high
around?
Son, I can't keep track of all
What's
your yarn
poppin'?
pals.
Don't mind me just watching.
Are you
I hope you have a
saying
great
you'd like
day.
a little wolf friend? Well, I've never knit a
I think
wolf
you'd enjoy
before, but
Disney
it should be
Dreamlight
no
Valley.
problem.
So I have a lot of games similar to that. I was actually watching you play yesterday. I don't think I said hi though. I do that a lot. But I've also watched I watched Ray's sister play it as well. But I have a lot of games that are similar to that, like the most recent one. I need to get back into playing it. It's like still in early access or whatever. What is it called? Coral Island. Very, very similar to... It's like Animal Crossing and Stardew Valley, basically. So I think very similar to the Disney one as well. But yeah, when I played it before, there was some things missing, and some NPCs were a little bit harder to find because they weren't like where they were meant to be at the right time. So, Coral Island, strange guy. Jargon, go to sleep, man. You've spoken to Dan, and I go to sleep. But that's also a pretty cute game. I had a day yesterday. I had the dayest of days yesterday. But it's fun. So yeah, you see like how all the controls, there's like all this baby stuff, the little kids' toys, yeah.
So what does Dad do during the day?
Oh, your father has a lot of work to do outside,
Jargon Island,
you
what
know?
would be on the Jargon
Fixing the
Island?
hull, scraping off space parasites, keeping a lookout for new planets to live on.
Computer, we need to get to Prima Doom immediately.
Absolutely not. They call it Prima Doom for a reason. Why not have some fun in the Smile system instead?
Well, I gotta get back to taking over the ship.
Oh, sweetie, you're so funny.
The snarkiest island. Yeah, so this kid is trying to, I guess, live his life. I don't know what all of these rooms are.
Teleporter, activate.
This way to the fusion orb containment facility.
Well, there we go. I guess that answers that question.
Here we go!
Hey, my head.
What's wrong?
My head is smaller.
Yeah, you just used a teleporter.
Why did my head shrink?
Quantum physics. Duh. Don't worry,
Duh.
I'll come back to normal when you
Don't you
take
guys
the trip
know?
back through me. Big baby.
Big baby. I mean, I think we technically are a big baby.
Caution. Entering an area of strong Omicron radiation levels. Full radiation shielding necessary to proceed.
Lay it on me.
Thank you. Goodbye.
What? Why does he
Hey,
look like a Power
where's my
Ranger?
helmet? That's just great. I don't need any more inhibiting. I'm not getting any closer to that fusion orb without my radiation helmet. Boiling my brain is not the kind of danger I'm looking for.
Is this not for...
I don't need any more inhibiting.
Hmm. So something's wrong with the machine that's supposed to give me a helmet? I could imagine plenty of terminology one would have to figure out. Okay, that actually sounds fun though.
Teleporter, activate.
May I teleport you to the Nexus?
Like, cause there's a
Oh, this is the best part of my day.
video that I saw recently. Oh my
Hey,
god.
My head's back to normal size.
That's because you followed the rules and went back through the proper teleporter.
Where people ask what
Teleporter,
does
activate.
K mean,
To the star
and it's like a bunch of engineers and they all give a different answer.
Oh, this is the best part of my day.
So like
See you.
trying to figure out what people. What is this? Whoa. What the heck? Neighbor, why did that thing giggle? Did they all just giggle?
Don't you have anything else to do?
Just making sure you're safe.
I'm so going to get lost. What's the banana split door though? This is one of the missions that she takes us on.
Hey guys.
I suppose you want to run the Avalanche Mission Protocol. Hey, we're supposed to be on break.
Nope, I just wanted to see what you guys were up to.
Not much. You know, just chilling. He's been waiting for you to ask that for a long time.
So if you got the terms wrong, would that imply you got terminated? Oh my goodness. I wonder...
It's a whipped cream gun. And it's
Okay.
mine. When the candy and treats are all you can eat 24/7,
Jogginated.
they
Yes.
just aren't that appetizing anymore.
Yes.
Oh, this kid's got some real tough problems.
What?
Merrick told me to use this on the fusion orb, not
Oh.
that. Hey guys.
I suppose you want to run the Avalanche Mission Protocol.
Yes. Sorry, I just want to practice my avalanche rescue skills.
Oh, because that situation comes up a lot in space. Come on, Nesmith. I could use the hours. All right. Position 1, everybody. You're not gonna believe this, but
There was another ice cream avalanche?
yay!
Weird.
Can I just leave them?
Discovered a strange feature over here, computer.
Just ignore that, Shay.
But I came through that door.
Discovered a strange feature over here,
Oh
computer.
Just ignore
no! That's where I came from. I'm stuck in here. I have to help them.
I'm saving my cream for a matter of life and death.
Oh. That's just a weird thing to say, but thanks, guy.
Good eater.
Yay!
If it was anything like me, it'd be a pushover.
Man, this guy really likes ice cream.
Yeah, this whole story is really fucking weird. Oh, okay, it just lets me out, thank god. I thought it was gonna make me cycle through the whole story again. Is this the thing that I put it on?
Merrick told me to use
Oh,
this
that's
on
not
the
the
fusion
fusion orb.
orb. Not that.
That's just an orb. Oh shit, I did not mean- I think this is the hug attack one? But you feel like everything's like toys and shit.
Hey, missions are cancelled. You can drop the act.
It's not an act! I think I pulled a muscle in that last attack you gave me! My back is killing me!
You also have a fucking knife in your head, you idiot.
Hey, I didn't attack you. You guys attacked me.
You want the mountain of ice cream? But it never melts. Does that like make it like a little sus?
Hey, maybe I can fix your back. Yeah, I think I see what's wrong. Hold still.
The fuck?
You're welcome.
What was that?
Now can we run the attack mission protocol?
Sure, buddy! I owe you one!
Fake controls. What a surprise.
So like...
Hey, wake up.
There? Was?
Yeah. Let's get this over with.
Looks like someone can't wait for their
No, I just...
So, someone did like a test on like, I think it was McDonald's, where they kept it for like a really long time and didn't grow mold or anything, and I'm just like, yeah, no. I still eat McDonald's though, but... but you know, it seems a little bit sus that it wouldn't go funkadunks. What is this for? It was McDonald's? Yeah. It wasn't moldy though. It kind of just like vibed. It was kind of just, it stayed the same. Wait, back to this room? I'm so confused. Let's go look at this one.
Teleporter, activate.
Yes, sir. To the Hall of Heroes?
You mean the junk room? Yeah.
Full of heroes? What?
Here we go!
Okay, now my head is just getting ridiculous.
Oh boy, you went through 2 teleporters without a return trip, didn't you? You're playing with fire, kid.
Oh my god. I'm gonna mess up my head, because I kinda wanna do that.
Hey, the helmet comes off. I think that's the ratty old washcloth I used to drag around the spaceship. I really hope she washed that thing. How did I manage to win
His
second
voice
place
is so
that time?
squeaky now. It's preserving me at the same time, right? Oh my god, yes. That's the anti-aging secret. McDonald's is actually the fountain of youth.
I never want to see another train as long as I live. I gave up making art years ago. If no one's around to see, as soon as we get full control of this ship, I'm going to burn this stuff.
Whoa!
Wonder what's in those creepy jars. My old teeth? I made a hexipal out of a paper plate. Probably thought they were alive then.
This is very
She
true.
bronzed my first space shoes. Or is that the remains of my old bomb squad bot? I wish she'd get rid of these. My paper mache is so much better than that now. That should be for acting. Acting like I cared about the stupid missions on this ship.
What is this? Whoa.
Judging by the wolf hair, this must be where Merrick sleeps. The helpless creatures we rescued are being quarantined in there. Wish I could let them out. But it's for their own safety, I guess.
Whoa. Let's go back. Because I want to fix my head. The soda fountain of youth. Oh my gosh. You're being preserved by all the salt, sugar, and possibly other things. I can't even interact with this little guy down here.
Activate.
May I teleport you to the Nexus?
If only the ice cream machine wasn't always broken. That's such a funny thing, like...
Oh, this is the best part of my day.
Why is that such a big meme?
There you are.
Okay, so... Whoa! Thank you for the onigiris. You got your coffee? Nice. Just fly your flag at half-mast so we don't bother going through the drive-thru. So, Ray and I don't really, like, go out much. Like, especially for ice cream. So, like, we'll order in. We've had it once where we weren't able to order ice cream. Like, ever. And that was so weird. Like, they had other stuff available, they just had no ice cream. So that kind of sucked. Would save so much time and heartache. Definitely, those long-ass queues that we see, it's actually just people wanting ice cream.
Not responsible for lost items, motion sickness, or mutations.
Wow, okay. Whoa!
Thanks for traveling with us.
My head's so tiny. I feel like that's going to happen again.
Caution. Entering an area of strong Omicron radiation levels. Full radiation shielding necessary to proceed.
I think this machine is just never going to give me a helmet. What a ripoff. My head is almost small enough to fit in this helmet now.
Oh. Okay. I think I see. Because the staff have realized the secret of youth is from the ice cream machines. Ah! Oh, Ivy, sorry. I know it's not a very long flight, but I hope you can get some rest.
Teleporter, activate.
Maybe you can take a little nap on the plane. But yes, travel safe.
Here we go.
McDonald's anti-aging conspiracy. Yeah, it's got to be the ice cream machine. Okay, so let's go back into here.
Teleporter, activate.
Yes, sir. To the Hall of Heroes.
Because I need to make my head
junk room?
teeny tiny.
Yeah.
Hang on! Welcome to the Hall of Heroes.
Please.
And then I need to go back. How did I... Oh, I went through this way, right? It scares you? Oh no! I'm out of ideas then. But, maybe you can listen to some relaxing music. Just take it easy. Okay, so 2 of those lights are off.
Teleporter, activate.
This way to the fusion orb containment facility.
I wonder how weird his voice is gonna sound now.
Oh, this is the best part of my day.
I think that's all my head can take.
You need to make a return trip through me right away, Shay.
No, thank you.
Caution. Entering an area of strong Omicron radiation levels. Full radiation shielding necessary to proceed.
I think this machine is just never going to give me a helmet. What a ripoff. A little snug, but I think it will work. I'm not sure how long I can stand the spoiled milk smell, though.
Oh, gross. Is this the thing? Oh, it is the thing.
Easy does it. There. Fusion orb inhibited.
Not quite. We won't activate the Omicron inhibitor until we're ready to take the shields down.
And when will we be ready?
Just as soon as you get control of those boom arms and navigate the ship to Prima Doom.
Check.
Always been envious of people that can sleep on planes. You can't sleep on planes either, Joggin? You gonna be here? No worries, Ivy. He's refusing to talk to anyone. Silly bean. It's fine, you'll be there soon. And then he can't not talk to you. I don't know if there's anything else. It doesn't look like it. I hope this thing doesn't take my helmet. It's basically time travel, fall asleep, and X number of hours pass in an instant. Yeah. I mean, that's sleep in general, right?
Hey, my head is the perfect size for this helmet now.
I want to take it off. What the fuck? How do you...
Man, how tiny was I when I used to wear this radiation helmet? It's sealed shut. I think she had it bronzed. I couldn't even wear it as a glove if I wanted to. Crocheting myself sounds really painful.
Oh, that's crochet. Okay. I wonder if that's for the guy.
Teleporter, activate.
You know the guy. Sleeping on planes is not possible? What's wrong with you people? You can't sleep on a plane? What about sleeping in a car or on a bus or on a train?
Ow, 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 ow!
No!
Head normalization expedited. You're welcome.
I hate quantum physics.
Oh no, it turns out that whole head tricking thing was just faulty wiring. One more trip and that head would have popped right off. So again, you're welcome.
Woof. Okay. Okay, alright. What was the store again? Was this the missions rooms? Yes, it was. Okay, hold on. I can't really remember what I needed to do. I think I need
Need some help knitting? I have a crochet hook.
Keep that thing away from me. One error in this weave, and we could be heading who knows where.
Your brother can sleep on a plane, and your wife, but you can't? Ah. I wonder if Ray can sleep on a plane. I don't think he's traveled too much on a plane.
I'm saving my cream for a matter of life and death. Need some help knitting?
Okay,
I have
no.
a crochet hook.
Keep that thing away from me.
He's being very grumpy pants. You can sleep everywhere else, it's just plain seats. Doesn't help being... yeah, being tall. Yeah. As a short person, I can't relate at all. Okay, what was I supposed to do, Mr. Mans?
Eric. I've installed the fusion orb inhibitor.
Great. Now when we push this button, the ship's shields will come down. But we won't do that until after we get control of those boom arms and navigate to Prima Doom.
Mm-hmm. So how do we do this again?
How are we going to get control of the ship's cargo boom arms?
We'll need to attempt a manual override. The manual boom arm controls are located here. You can get to them through the ship's airlock here. I've hacked the airlock door so you can now open it without alerting the Overmother.
The Space Weaver won't make a nav scarf for Prima Doom.
How are your knitting skills?
I'd better get back to the mission.
Yes. Our window of opportunity won't
That
last
answered
forever.
nothing. Hey Moombas! Thank you. Have a great day. Can't stand being up high. Sometimes have panic attacks. Oh no! That's definitely not fun. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. Oh, wait, that's my room. I don't want to be in here. Yeah, I think,
He's got security cameras everywhere.
Only for your protection.
yeah, this guy's creepy. I think, yeah, just traveling in general can be quite scary. Whoa. What the fuck is this?
If I give the Space Weaver a star chart, he'll weave the destination pattern into this nav scarf. Some stars on this star chart do seem to correspond to the nav scarf pattern. Some stars on this star chart do seem to correspond to the nav scarf. I'll bet I could use this crochet hook to make
What the heck?
alterations in the nav scarf. Next time the Space Weaver is doing his countdown, I should try it.
Think of planes as a bus ride, and sometimes roads are bumpy. Oh yeah, if there's a little bit of shaky shakes. It's just a bumpy road. Boarding the plane, you'll be back later. No worries, Ivy.
This tiny suit wouldn't be much use there. Or anywhere. I'll bet I could use this crochet hook to make alterations in the nav scarf. Next time the Space Weaver is doing his countdown, I should try it.
Doing his countdown.
Where shall we go today, wise commander?
Maybe the smile system would be better.
Preparing decryption mechanism. Initializing warp and wolf drive.
Some stars on this star chart do seem to correspond to the nav scarf pattern.
Leave thrusters at
It's a quick
viscosity.
fix. Let me just make one small change here. There's already a stitch there. I can't take it out.
Nav scarf
Oh.
in 5,
I don't know.
4, 3, 2.
There's already a stitch there. I can't take it out.
Huh.
Oh my. I seem to have made an error in my knitting. Not sure how that happened, sir. Shall I try again? Where shall we go today, wise commander?
I don't know where I am. I don't know.
This is the star chart for Prima Doom.
Oh. That doesn't really help too much.
We need to go here right away. Prima Doom!
Negative. That system is forbidden due to light.
Fine. Cozy cluster it is.
So does that correspond?
Decryption mechanism. Initializing warp and wolf
This is the
drive.
star chart for Prima Doom.
Intake calipers in
This
position.
is the star chart for Prima
Leave
Doom.
thrusters at viscosity. Spindle at rotational
This is the
velocity.
star chart for Prima Doom.
Deploying nav scarf in 5,
It's a little bit
This is the
confusing.
star
I don't
chart for
know
Prima
if...
Doom.
3, 2.
This is the star chart for Prima Doom.
Shush you!
This looks like the place.
This is the star chart for Prima Doom.
Because it doesn't seem to correspond exactly, but I don't know... Is it a star chart? I think so. I'm not sure.
Go today, wise commander.
All right. Let's try Puppy Planetoid.
Sorry guys, I have to click on it to see. I'm trying to see if there's like anything that matches up with it.
Intake calipers in position.
This is the star chart for
Leave
Prima Doom.
thrusters at viscosity. Spindle at rotational velocity. Deploying nav scarf in 5, 4,
Looks like the Space Weaver has encoded the star chart into a graph of knits
Ah!
and curls.
1.
Maybe I'll come back to this one.
Everybody make it in one piece. Great.
This is a star chart for Prima Doom? No ways. Better than a char shot. Oh my god, I think anything is better than any kind of shot, to be fair. Still trying to decide. I went to drink the play, but I'm also... Maybe not gonna drink all of it? I'm curious about the taste. Whoa. Hi Fuzzy! How are you? What was the other thing I needed to do? I need to do the boom arm things, but I wasn't sure where I need to go to do that.
Teleporter, activate.
May I teleport you to the Nexus?
Damn, Fuzzy! That's a lot of work. What was this room again?
Teleporter, activate.
To the starboard passageway, sir. Here we go!
So wait, is my head not gonna shrink anymore? Oh, there's the train mission. What is this one? Airlock ahead. Oh, this is where I need to go. This is the outside mission. Whoa! The heck? Resting a bit before you cook dinner? Oh yeah, definitely. Oh, I can just go back in? Okay, that's not what I wanted actually. Also, what are you cooking, Fuzzy? Not the load shedding? Yeah, it's pretty bad at the moment, Fuzzy. So we've got minimum 11.5 hours a day with no electricity. So that really sucks.
Open up. But this time, take it easy. Open up. But this time, take it easy.
Hold on. Do I need to...
This tiny suit wouldn't be much use there. Or anywhere. I'm saving my cream for a matter of life and death. Open up. But this time, take it easy.
Thank you for the head pats, Yaku. Yeah, the head pats are back. Wait, why is it closing now?
Open up. But this time, take it easy.
Oh.
This tiny suit wouldn't be much use there. Or any. I don't think eating it should be my first step. It seems to be doing fine out here in space without air. Giving back presents is rude. I'm saving my cream for a matter of life and death. That could create a puncture wound and possibly leak acid blood onto the ship.
Why is it... I don't know why it's like immediately closing. Maybe it would enjoy a star chart, I wonder. Because I got it to stay open earlier. Now it's just like, no. Saving his cream? I know. I heard it earlier and I was just like, what the fuck? I'm pretty sure that I'm supposed to use one of these things on the plant. Because I think I need to get...
Open up. But this time, take it easy. If it weren't for this stupid air hose, I could really have some fun up here. Except for the part where I can't breathe.
Let me come back. Maybe I'm missing something.
Warning. Airlock ahead. Safety suit and air tether required for extra vehicular exploration. But don't worry, I'll put it on you, sweetie pie. Ugh.
Ugh. It's usually not fun when you can't breathe. Yeah. Maybe there's something in here. Because I think I have to go through all the missions and get something extra.
Oh no, don't even think it.
What?
You are banned from this rail for life, young man. Life. Your passengers are still in grief counseling. Please leave before they see you.
Can't I ride the train again?
Banned for life.
Can't I ride the train again?
No, it's all the same thing.
This tiny suit wouldn't be much use there. Or anywhere. Nah. Gary doesn't want to grab that.
How do you know?
Don't see anything there I want to eat. I don't think that needs any air.
I've been banned for life. I don't know what I did. Okay, I know what I did. I crashed the train, but you know.
I don't know how I would crochet that.
So
I wonder if I could knit with this.
Actually, it's a crochet hook, so you could probably crochet with it.
Wow. You know a lot about yarn crafts.
Wolf costumes don't make themselves.
I don't know how I would crochet that. I'm saving my cream for a matter of life and death.
I was just curious.
Nah. Gary doesn't grab things that might snag. Can't I ride the train again?
Hi Pocahontas, how are you? This one I'm unsure about. Oh no, wait, that's the control thing. I don't want to go there. This one is the teleport room. I think. Yeah. I know what I need to do, just not how I need to do it. What was this room? Sitting outside with your dog during load shedding? Ah! Yeah, I'm currently getting load shedded right now. But hopefully the power's back soon. Ooh. This is the kitchen? Ooh, hello. A knife?
Can't believe she'd leave something this dangerous lying around.
Stick it in your pocket, man.
What's that?
Nothing.
Okay. And look, even the chair I'm sitting in, that's a baby chair.
Not going back in there if I can help it.
Oh, you don't want to eat, man? I mean, that's also fine, I guess.
These are just props. She would never let me do my own cooking. Don't you have anything else to do?
Just making sure you're safe.
Her voice is so fucking familiar. Imagine not wanting to eat. To be fair though, I don't think he eats like proper food. What was this one?
Why won't this open?
Oh, honey, you can't come in here. I'm working on a surprise for you.
What is it?
Nice try.
Okay. That's my room, right? I'm pretty sure it's my room. Yeah, that's my room. Okay, so...
You don't talk too, do you?
Not unless I have something to say.
Please ignore him, sir. Bad attitude.
Okay, I reckon we go try and stab the plants. Whoa! Those little guys are weird. Also, clicking on any of the blinky faces gives the same thing, and it's fucking creepy. This cast is insane. How did I not realize? I don't recognize a lot of the voices, but the woman, like the son, especially her voice is very familiar, and I can't tell you why. I have no idea who she is. How you doing, Crossing Point? Oh, I'm not allowed to do the train, right? I don't suppose stabbing the guy will work. Hey, man.
I don't want to stab that.
I do.
Oh, really? I'm fucking Frodo Baggins? No ways, man. That's crazy. I usually get my nutrition via IV. Wait, really, JP? This kid gets fed pastes, cubes, and he's very lucky in the mornings he does actually get a proper cereal.
That could create a puncture wound and possibly leak acid blood onto the ship.
Yes, that was the plan, kid. Because I feel like I need to get up here somewhere. Otherwise, what's the point of coming out here?
That wouldn't help. Ah, my first hazard suit. Kept out, Omicron. You don't talk too, do you?
Not unless I have something to say.
Please ignore him, sir. Bad attitude.
Oh yeah, who else is in it? Played through this already and had no idea? Damn. Backins D's nuts. I do appreciate a good D's nuts joke, but I'm not sure if that was a good one, JP.
Open up. But this time, take it easy.
Was I just losing my mind earlier when I thought it stayed open?
That could create a puncture wound and possibly leak acid blood onto.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. Commander Shepard? Oh, yes. Okay, I hear it now. I'm a little stumped at the moment. Was just adding trolling God's jargon not eating. Oh, imagine not wanting to eat. Oh, right. Because I know some people have like issues with their stomachs. You got Yellen yesterday. You were building pity. Oh my goodness. Pocahontas, no. What is the knife for? Jack Black? Is Jack Black the wolf?
Teleporter, activate.
Yes, sir. To the Hall of Heroes?
You mean the junk room?
Harmony? It was a 50-50 you wanted to lose? Oh, so it's a good thing? I mean, Yellen is a really good character, so like...
This is the best part of my day.
Wouldn't be sad. I did that once on Kazuha's banner. I was building pity on Kazuha's banner. I was like, if I get him, yay. If I don't, oh well. I still don't have him. But I think that was for Kokomi's banner. Like, before Kokomi's banner.
Merrick. The Space Weaver won't make a nav scar for Prima Doom.
I already know what I need to do there,
How
but
are we
where's
going- I
this?
better get back to the mission.
No, I accidentally pressed spacebar. I want to die. Whoa, they changed color.
I'd better get back to the... I hate to think about all the helpless creatures out there, waiting for us to rescue them.
Then let's not keep them waiting. Wait, young cub. It is not time to deploy the rescue system yet.
This guy. One day you won't be Kazuha-less. Fingers crossed. Yeah, I hope he comes soon.
How are we
I think
going
he's
to get
due for a
control of the
rerun.
ship's cargo boom arms?
We'll need to attempt a manual override. The manual boom arm controls are located here. You can get to them through the ship's airlock.
Ship's
Here,
airlock.
I've hacked the airlock door so you can now open it without alerting the Overmother.
I'd better get back to the mission.
Yes, our window...
Why did it zoom in so weirdly? What the fuck? Just trying to see if there's anything else in here. I don't think so. I think that takes me to my room. I don't want to go there, obviously. Man, my brain feels so small right now. You forgot? Maybe there was a reason why you forgot a crossing point. This game is trippy as hell.
May I teleport you to the Nexus?
Biscuit is trying to catch flies. Your doggy's name is Biscuit? That's so cute. What kind of doggy is this? Sky used to do that sometimes as well. You would just hear him like snapping at the air. Oh no, it wasn't this way. I just don't know what to do. It's been years. Yeah, this is apparently quite an old game. What is this?
Warning. Objects placed into this trash chute will be jettisoned from the ship, and the next time it happens to one of your toys, Shay, your father is not going to retrieve it for you. You crawl into something once when you're 2 years old and they lock it forever.
Wonder.
This tiny suit wouldn't be much use there. Or anywhere. Nah, Gary doesn't like to grab trash.
Well, Gary's a little bitch, because what does Gary actually want to do with his life? Anyway. You should sleep more, probably. I think it's a bit more than probably. I think it's a definitely. You'll be back in a while, no worries. Sleep well. You went back to uni yesterday, 5 months later, went back home because of protests? Oh my goodness. At least you're home safe though. Shit. No uni until Thursday. Nice. Wait, up?
Here we go! Man! Space! Come on.
Huh. Okay. How did I not see that before?
Freedom! Why is my air hose so short? Guess I'll just cut this air hose. What could possibly go wrong?
Whoops.
Oh boy. No, air! Suffocating! In space! Totally worth it.
Wait, really?
Dang it.
What the heck? Hi Epsilon, how are you? You had some poopy sleep? Oh yeah. Go get some rest if you can.
Woo! Ah. That would be a really slow way to cut it. This tiny suit wouldn't be much use there. Or anywhere.
Oh, hold
I had
on.
a slice and Sally instead of a grab and get. Hey, that's a great idea. But I think it would attach right to my helmet.
Oh.
Let's see if this fits.
Haha!
Come on. That's the stuff.
Okay, so now...
Here we go!
Boop! I'm just gonna drift off into space though, aren't I?
Oh no. Gotta get further out. Come on, legs. Ah. I wish I had some sort of propulsion.
Propulsion? Oh! They're burning tires, everyone just casually walked past. Oh hell no. What the fuck? I'm trying to think now. I don't think there was any protests when I went to school, like university or anything. But I know that I know that when
free in space. Okay. Now what?
there's only really one way. Oh. Cool. Don't think that's what I wanted to do, but you know.
Open up. But this time, take it easy. Woo!
I don't think there's anything up here. Unless I'm just missing something.
Hello, space!
Do I need to go over it? Ah. I see. Maybe not this way? Oh, hold on. What is this? Boomer manual control. Hey, we did it, guys. What is this game about? Oh, it's so weird. So like, it's a story, but there's like two parts to the story. So we already did the first part of the story. Oh, I can't show you now, but we did the first part of the story. It's this girl who is being offered up as a sacrifice to like some ocean god thing. I don't really know. But in any case, she fights against it because she's like, nah, I don't want to get eaten. And now we're a boy in space, and from what I gather, there's like a mother figure that keeps talking to us. that's somehow related to the girl in the first story, so I don't really know. That part's a little bit confusing, but yeah. This boy, he's basically being taken care of by this computer that's supposedly like his mother or something, and they only allow him to do like really safe things, but now he's being disobedient and there's a stowaway, and we're currently trying to take over the ship because this boy doesn't want to live this life anymore.
No good. Stupid fat hands.
Stupid. What about these
I
hands?
can tell Gary wants to get in there, but his grabbing claws are too thick to pry open that hatch.
Ah.
Let me try to... Oh, hey! Uh-oh! No, not the face! Or the neck! Or the body!
I'm free! Free to cleave the infinite void of space itself.
You always play the most wholesome, fun, casual games. Yeah, I love it because it makes it a little bit easier to chat to people. I feel like if I'm playing hectic games, then it's so hard to...
Rats. Can't reach.
So hard to concentrate on chat, so I kind of have to pick.
I think Gary wants to grab that.
Let's go,
Okay,
Gary! We've had him basically since we started the story.
Don't
Gosh.
be scared. Well, go ahead. Grab the controls. Oh, yeah, I have the button. Engage. Good boy. Oh, hey. That's enough, Gary. We don't want to attract attention just yet. You sit tight here, and I'll push the button again when it's go time, okay?
Good boy, Gary. Hell yeah. You should play Dark Souls. Very casual and chill game.
Goodbye, Gary. You were the best present ever. Those must be the ship's cargo boom arms. Man, those things are huge.
Yeah, definitely. I think Dark Souls is a game that I would play. I still want to know what that plant is about. Was it just, like, useful in the beginning when it gave us the present? Okay. Cool. So I still need to figure out how to go about doing that other thing. I wonder... I don't know if I can tab out. Oh, I can tab out. Did I have any of the... No, I don't have Dark Souls. I know I played it before, but I think I played it on someone else's account. I might have even played... Is it on console? Because I feel like I played it on a controller. I can't remember now. It was too long ago. Alright. Oh. Okay, wait. So, I definitely need to redo the... I need to somehow...
Teleporter, activate.
May I teleport you to the Nexus?
I need to... change the navigation, but I don't know... I don't know how that map corresponds at all.
This is the star chart for Prima Doom.
We've only heard him say that like 40 times now. This is fine. You see, the lines don't really add... They don't, like, line up very nicely. And I know that I can...
I'll bet I could use this crochet hook to make alterations in the nav scarf. Next time the Space Weaver is doing his
I want to know what this tiny baby suit is
my
for.
first hazard suit.
Okay, let's
This is
take
the star
a
chart for
last
Prima
look at
Doom.
this boy.
Where shall we go today, wise commander?
Cozy
Fine.
cluster.
Cozy cluster.
Preparing decryption mechanism. Initializing warp and wolf drive. Intake calipers in position. Weave thrusters at viscosity. Spindle at rotational velocity.
Looks like the Space Weaver has encoded the star chart into a graph of nits, and I think it would look better this way.
4, 3, 2,
I don't know, man.
1.
Oh?
Wait, no. This is not the destination I indicated.
Oh?
I'm so sorry, young master. I will correct this right. What's that? I seem to be out of yarn. Humiliation! Humiliation! Humiliation!
Superliminal? Oh, I was looking at that.
You took that really hard.
Superliminal also looks like a lot of
Don't
fun.
worry, Space Weaver. As soon as I rescue those helpless creatures, we'll get out of Prima Doom.
Because I think it might even be on sale at the moment. Because oh man, I remember when it came out, I was like, hell yeah, that looks cool, and then
Over here.
immediately forgot about it. But it is something that I saw recently. It does look like a lot of fun.
We're all set for the rescue mission, but enemy forces seem to be aware of us already.
I'm ready. Let's do this quickly.
Affirmative. The
Plane is
controls
up
are
in the
yours.
air right now? God damn.
You may now use the fusion orb inhibitor button to inhibit the fusion orb and shut down the ship's shields. Careful.
Now we just need to grab the
Well
boys.
done. Now the next one. Wait for it.
Oh no.
Rats.
Keep track.
Oh my god.
Dang.
That's okay.
Oh, cheesy creasies.
Rats.
I don't think there's an actual time limit to this though.
Okay.
I'm
that's all
until the
we can do.
27th
We're
of
pulling
Feb.
out.
Ooh.
No. I need to save this last one.
Yeah, I think
Make
it's
the
worth
same
getting.
mistake you did last time, boy.
You said you trusted my instincts, right?
I don't understand. What is it about this creature?
I don't know, but it's important.
But also, sorry, I
It's
think I
just
started
a
saying
creature.
something earlier and then I forgot to finish my sentence. But
It's
like,
not worth the risk, boy.
I remember when you used to have to turn your phone off
We've saved more than
and
enough.
just never turn it back on
There
again,
is
like
no
on a
need
plane.
for this.
Like you weren't allowed to use your phone at all. But I haven't traveled in like 11 years, so 11 years?
Got her.
12 years.
Huh? What's that?
I have no idea. Evasive maneuvers.
Oh,
Ship is under attack.
what have you done, Shay?
I can't see her anymore.
Forget about the creature. We need to move you to a safe location. Come with me. Merrick! Run, Shay! Get somewhere safe!
Attention. Critical breach in outer hull.
I can fix this.
No!
Shay, there you are. Something's happened to the ship, but don't worry. Your father's gone out to fix it. Shay, where are you going?
Whoa?
It's not safe. Shay!
Whoa? Hello? Sauron, is that you? What? What? What the fuck? The creatures we were saving was the girls we were eating. Oh my god. Whoa. Ah. Oh, what the fuck? Plot twist?
Son? Son, are you okay?
Neighbor.
There's been some sort of a accident. Are you hurt? Where's your mother? Shay! Shay, you need to snap out of it.
What?
Our ship has crashed. Your mother's still inside. We need to get her out.
My head.
Just help me out of this sand, will you?
Computer.
Who are you talking about? Never mind. I'll get myself out.
What the fuck?
Where did you get that body?
You need to calm down, son.
Neighbor.
There's been an accident, and your mother is still trapped.
My mother? But you're not... She's really...
Yes, she's really in there.
Huh?
And no, I'm not going to leave her behind. We're going to get your mom out of there.
Huh?
My... mom?
Guys.
I know we haven't seen you much in person lately. It's just that I've been busy outside the ship, or, well, what I thought was a ship, in what I thought was space.
We weren't actually in space?
The point is your mom is still inside the thing and she's not responding to my calls. Help me find a way to get back on board, will you?
That was a plot twist of
Dad?
note. Also, has my power seriously not come back on?
Real seagulls. Not made of yarn. Is that really our ship? Why does it look like
a monster? I don't know. I'll figure it out after we get your mother.
So that girl that we saw, that's the girl who was rebelling against being eaten by this monster, and we were controlling this monster the whole time.
This button only works on grabbing Gary. I wonder where he is now. You still with me, Spoon?
If this strange new world has food to eat, then I shall still serve it to you, Commander.
You found a way to get Luna to talk? Oh, nice. Sorry, I got very distracted. The story just was a massive plot twist, and I'm just reeling now.
I guess I always knew my parents were people.
Did we?
It's been a while since I thought of them that way.
Did we know that? Because I don't think I knew that, son. Just saying.
So, if we weren't actually in space...
I'm glad I didn't actually sleep late yet. Are you... You just listening in? Jogging the plot twist that just happened. I'm stunned.
Hey, it's one of my Hexapal buddies. Doesn't look like he survived getting thrown off the ship. Poor guy.
Ah, rip. Whoa. What are these guys doing? You're shooketh? Even me, I am shooketh.
Wow. Looks like something really hot happened here.
Yeah, jeez. The laser melted? Probably. What is the story? Holy shit.
What the?
That outfit.
Oh, that's me.
Operation Dandelion.
Are you?
Are you? Me? From the future?
Are you me from the past?
Oh my
I can't believe
god.
what I'm seeing.
This is amazing. I'm not sure the world is ready for two of us.
Yeah, our parents would probably agree. One Shay is enough.
Yeah.
The plot twist can't
Shay.
even.
We're Shay.
My name is Alex. I don't remember ever being called Shay.
Oh, rip.
You didn't grow up on the Bassa Nostra?
No, I grew up on the Malaruna.
Oh, then we're not.
Yeah, I guess not.
That's a relief.
Yeah. Wait, how is that a relief?
Nothing. I just mean that. Nothing.
I was very curious how these stories were related, but now it all makes sense. Yeah, I mean, it makes some sense.
So why are you dressed like me?
Were you also in Operation Dandelion?
Yeah, what I thought was a spaceship. But then it crashed, and it wasn't in space. And there was this angry girl there, and my ship looked like a monster on the outside.
You know, I remember the Malaruna looked a little funny after the crash, but I just thought it was deflated airbags and fire damage. Well, if I wasn't actually from space, that will make my trip back to Laruna a lot easier. If I can get this ship fixed.
You're going back to Laruna? That's where I'm from. But they said it was dying.
Yeah, well, if they lied to us about the space thing, who knows what else they're lying about.
What on earth is going on?
My ship crashed down on the beach. Didn't you see it?
Oh, that was your ship.
Yeah, why?
Well, I might have actually shot it down.
What? Why?
Well, this girl, Vela, wanted to kill the monster, Mog Chothra. And I kind of owed her one.
Mog Chothra. How are you going to get this ship back to Laruna?
Well, if I can get my space conductor up and working again, he'll take me back to a previous destination, as long as I compose the right tune into his nav song.
Nav song? You mean your nav scarf?
Nav scarf? Was your mom really into knitting or something? Mine was all about music. Everything we did on my ship was about music. Just between you and me, I'm a little sick of the music thing.
Have you seen Laruna? What's it like?
No idea. I was born on this ship and my parents never showed me any pictures. But supposedly, it's dying.
So, why do you want to get back there?
Dying or not, home sounds pretty good after 300 years stuck on a sandcastle.
Where are your parents?
They lived for about 20 years after the crash, and then passed away 3 months apart from each other.
Oh man.
That's one of the reasons I went into chrysolation. But hey, maybe if I get back to Laruna, who knows? I might have some other family there.
Why did they put us on spaceships that weren't spaceships?
Well, we were supposed to be looking for a new place to live. But maybe we were actually looking for something else and we just didn't know it.
What is the story? Holy shit.
Did you have a strange wolf on your ship who told you to hack the controls?
Weird. I did get hacking ideas like that, but I'm too embarrassed to say where they came from.
Whoa.
Come on. Tell me where you got the idea to hack the ship.
I started hallucinating that my cello was talking to me. It would walk around and talk and tell me to keep secrets from my mom.
Did your cello have a name?
Well, he called himself Merrick.
Yeah.
You know I just made that up.
No. I had a Merrick too. He wanted us to rescue. Or capture. Girls.
Those helpless creatures were... Oh, man. I'm kind of glad I never managed to rescue any now.
Oh my god. That is so fucked up.
Need
What
any help
happened to
getting your ship running?
them?
Do I ever? Looters have taken some critical parts.
Well, maybe we have some extra parts on my ship. It's just downstairs on the beach.
Shay, our ship, it came to life and flew away. Probably to Loruna on autopilot. Oh no. Is that me from the past?
No, Dad. This is Alex. He was in Operation Dandelion years ago.
Ray Volta. Pleasure to meet you.
His ship crashed here too, and now he wants to go back to Loruna.
Well, I'll be. We're inside a Diamond Age Dandelion cruiser. Never seen one in person before.
If we can get my ship running, you're welcome to come back with me and look for your ship in Loruna.
Son, I think you've just found a way to catch up to your mother. I can whip up a batch of my special hull patching compound. Would that help?
Sure would. I'll bet the
My brain
undercarriage
is
on this
still
baby
reeling.
shot.
Leave it to me. I saw a tub with some good starter enzymes down on the beach.
Yeah, so that's my dad.
Cool.
So what else does your ship need to fly?
Let me see here. Still need an electronics genius, and still need your dad to patch the holes in the hull. What else? I still need a radiation suit. Haven't found a superconductive gyroscopic hypercam yet. And gotta replace my heavy-duty anti-gravity thrust unit. Once we take care of that, we'll be ready to fly.
Who do you think has been looting your ship?
Actually, I suspect the guards outside. Something about their outfits.
Oh?
There aren't any guards out there.
Walked off the job, eh? Man, 300 years ago, people were a lot more professional, I'll tell you what.
Not those riddle guys again, my god.
What was it about your guards' outfits that made you suspicious? Did they look like they were hiding loot underneath?
No, it was the way they were made from the same material as my radiation shielding blast curtains.
Oh. What's a superconductive gyro what's-it-can?
A superconductive gyroscopic hypercam. A small but critical part of the ship's controls. Here, I'll draw you a detailed schematic.
Okay, I'll see if I can
What
find
the
one lying
fuck?
around.
That's just something I'm going to find laying around, I guess.
So, what kind of help do you need with the wiring?
I need an electrical genius who can get into small spaces, knows how to solder, and who can memorize circuit boards at a glance.
Okay, yeah, that's not me. I'll find somebody. Okay, see you later.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, you got this old-timey laser coil and amplifying quartz all hooked up wrong. Want me to...
No, don't touch them. They've come close to overheating several times and they're extremely unstable. I'll get around to fixing that soon. Just leave it to me.
All right.
Man, I actually thought I was close to finishing the game.
What's this?
Oh no, I don't know what this means. Coordinates? I'm guessing those are coordinates. I thought I was close to finishing it and then just like shit happened.
Strange. But I feel like I've seen this pyramid before. And I don't just mean a minute ago. Oh, ship! It's really gone. Hey, where did all the seashells go? Oh, what's that smell?
Ugh. The fuck?
Dad?
Son?
What's cooking? Yeah, it was a hell of a plot twist, man. I don't know what I was expecting with this game, I'll be honest.
What's cooking?
Found some fermented biomatter here. Perfect enzymatic base for my patented hull patch formula. Only problem is I can't add the bonding agent until I know I have the pH balanced perfectly, or the whole batch will be ruined.
At least now we have a plan. Right, Dad?
Well, half of one at least. If our ship's headed to Loruna on autopilot, and if we can fix Alex's ship and hitch a ride there with him, then all we have to figure out is...
what to do when we get there.
Right.
How's the hole patch coming?
Great. Except I can't add the final ingredient until I know I have the pH balanced correctly.
Taste test?
Can't you just do a taste test or something?
My taste buds aren't that sensitive. Also, I put poison in there.
What?
Well, it's usually to keep space parasites from chewing on the patch. Force of habit, I guess.
Oh
How
my
would you
god.
change the pH?
Oh Jesus. Thank you, Misa. Pew, 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 pew.
Final ingredient.
Mwamasaki 51 love all the loves in the world.
Thank you, Misa. How are you? 16 months,
How'd you
damn.
get the calcium carbonate?
By grinding up every seashell on the beach. But I fear it's still not enough.
Okay.
Where can I get more calcium
How are
carbonate?
you doing, Misa?
That's a great question. If I could find just one more shell, that would help.
Good luck.
Alive? That's good.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good state to be in. What's that noise? What are you doing?
Hi, I'm Shay.
I'm Carl. No, wait. You know what? Carol. My name is Carol.
Oh,
Nice to meet you, Carol.
she's a fisher now. Fisherwoman.
What are you doing?
Taking a break from the husband, the kids, and that darn cloud we live on. Trying to enjoy a little fishing here, but having some setbacks.
Fish aren't biting?
No, some nitwit stole every hook in town. Trying to twist this wire into a hook, but it's not working out.
Did you say you had wire?
I have a bunch, but I'm using it all up trying to make these dang hooks.
You lived on a cloud?
Yeah, but it's not as nice as it sounds. Trapped up in that fluffy, soft world, never able to leave or do anything real.
I can relate, actually. Did you see that big thing crash down out there on the beach?
Mog Chothra? Yeah, good riddance. Don't have to worry about that pain in the neck showing up and eating our girls anymore, I guess.
Oh my god.
Did you say Mog Chothra ate girls? Are you sure he wasn't rescuing them?
Rescuing? Huh? From what? Their loving families?
Where did Mog Chothra go?
Yeah, that was weird. Guess he wasn't dead after all. He just up and flew out of here. Probably headed back home with his tail between his legs.
Where is Mog Chothra's home?
They say he comes from over the plague dam. Must be some mama Mog over there popping out fresh monsters every 14 years or so.
Hey, do you know anything about electronics?
Oh no. I only work with wire to reinforce the cloud shoes I make. Correction. Used to make.
Well, good luck and good fishing, Carol.
She's taking a break.
Fishing beats the best day in a cloud cult.
Oh, this guy's eating something. She's taking a break from her family. Poor
Greetings.
woman.
I am Shay of Loruna. Curious. If I wasn't traveling through space, then why are you speaking in an alien tongue?
Punch
Judging
him.
by your outfit, I assume you're the leader of this place?
Punch him in the stomach.
I'd love to talk more, but I need to go help my parents right now. He seems a little too distracted right now to enjoy it. What if that whistling sound is actually something caught in his throat? Maybe I could fish it out. with
This
this.
nerd.
Sir, you are more likely to force the object further down his throat if you attempt that. I recommend a sudden constricting pressure to the abdomen instead. Trust me, choking prevention is my business.
So, what if I throw this at him?
Do you know how to repair hexapals? That sounds like a no. He doesn't want to see my baby clothes. What if that whistling sound is actually something caught in his throat? Maybe I could fish it out with this.
Sir, you are more likely to force the object further down his throat.
Okay,
if you
okay,
attempt-
okay. I need to push it out somehow. Cool.
It's gone. Nothing down
Okay,
there
we
now
can't
but
go
sand.
there. I'm guessing that I have to go out into the... I have to go back, basically.
Filthy, lousy, sadistic. Oops.
Oh, the
I heard
vomit
you
on the
talking.
floor.
You don't need to hide it from me.
Talking to humans hasn't really worked out well for me.
Don't worry. I've seen much weirder stuff than talking trees where I'm from.
Oh, so I'm a weird thing, huh? A freak? Does that make you want to cut me down, huh? Turn me into a stool, I suppose?
No, that's not what I was saying at all. I understand why you're mad.
Hello,
Stuck in one place all your life.
Hello,
wanting to see the
motherfucker.
world.
Hi, Brimey and stuff.
Ooh, that's not what's making me upset. It's all the murderous humans who want to cut us down. Being stuck in one spot is kind of like the whole tree thing, man. Who wouldn't like that?
Do all trees talk in this land?
Maybe take the time to talk to them before you cut them down, and you'll find out.
I've never cut down a tree in my life.
Really? How'd you get your wood?
We didn't use wood. My mom just knit everything we needed.
Well, that's
Yeah, that
just
doesn't
the
make it better.
sweetest thing I've ever... Wait, what were her knitting needles made of?
Plastic.
Okay.
I think. Do you know anything about fixing spaceships?
No, that's a subject that never resonated with me.
Oh, good one.
Yeah, tree jokes are the best.
Have you seen a mad-looking girl in a tattered dress?
Oh, please don't mention that demented little urchin to me. It makes me sick to think of how she made me sick.
Why did she make you sick?
She coveted my sap. I saw her collect it in a bucket. Oh, curse my precious fluids and all their magical hardening properties.
I gotta make like a tree and split.
It's supposed to be a banana, but don't worry about it. Tree jokes are hard.
I've detected an unusual rock formation on the surface.
That's not rock. It's the hardened shell of my sick, summoned from my gut by a banshee in a shredded gown.
You don't say. Never seen one of those before.
Can I eat it?
Don't see anything there I want to eat.
Oh,
Too many limbs.
I wanted to hang it on the tree. That's fine. Let's keep going. I assume I'm just going
Any
back.
talking trees over here? No? Good.
I can hear you.
I'm kind of curious.
Would you like a cup of water?
Hey,
You look
you're
thirsty
thirsty as fuck right now.
Familiar.
I'm going to...
I don't want to mess up this horn. It's a serious safety device. I don't want to mess up this horn. It's a serious... It's really only good for protecting babies from radiation.
Yeah.
Which is important.
But I kind of
Of
wanted
all the
to
things
just...
I could have taken from our
Because I
ship,
wonder if there's
I
something
ended up
else
with
here.
useless baby radiation
Because the snake
suit.
is still here, right? Bunk! Hydrate. I'm gonna hydrate with my energy drink. Because you can't do anything to stop me.
A real giant constrictor. My mother never would have.
Because it seems like my power's still not on. So...
Danger. I was feel like letting go of me, Mr. Huggy? Wow. Oh, you really aren't kidding around, are you?
Why does it look
You're
so
actually
tired?
trying to squeeze the life out of me, aren't you? I love it. So, is your plan to kill me, then eat me? I can't use my hands. Oh, that was a good one. I can't use
Why
my
does the
hands.
snake look high as fuck?
Well, this has been fun, but I hate to do this to you, big guy, but I've got stuff to do. No time for play right now.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what that one's all about, because it didn't even make sense when I used the other character for it. But anyway, I encourage hydrating with energy drink. Living vicariously? I don't know if it is vicarious if you do it yourself, to be fair. I'll be back in a second, guys. I just want to check how the inverter is doing.
No more
Whoa.
swivels. Come back late. Whoa. Never seen an outfit like that before. Where'd you get it?
I forgot about this guy. Anyway, let me just be right back quick. I just want to see how the power's doing. Alright guys, sorry about that. I do actually have bad news. Yeah, I don't know when my power's actually gonna come back. It seems like there's a bit of a fault somewhere or something is broken. You know the drill. You know how it be sometimes. I'm unfortunately gonna have to end the stream here. I know it's been a short one. But yeah, since we don't know when the power is coming back, I don't think I can stream tonight either. Because once again, you know, load shedding. But maybe I might stream later tonight. I'll have to see what the situation is. I know that I am going to my in-laws' house because it's my mother-in-law's birthday today, so we're gonna have dinner with them tonight. But yes, everyone, sorry for the abrupt end here. It's very unfortunate, but I don't want to kill the inverter. Let me just quickly go find someone to raid. We're gonna go look for a friend. And then yeah, I will let you guys know on the Discord if I am able to stream later. You guys will hear from me. Thank you, Jargon. But yes, if you don't follow me on my socials, there's my socials. If you aren't part of the Discord, there's the Discord. Hop in there. Let's see. There's actually not that many people streaming right now. That shit's crazy. But there is someone that I've never been able to raid before because time zones are buttholes. So let me set up the raid. We are going to go to Trenium. Trenium is currently playing League of Legends. Y'all know I don't know too much about those kinds of games. I haven't played League since God was a child. But yeah, if you guys can take all of your love, unfortunately I won't be able to join for the raid. But yes, you know the drill. Take all the love in your hearts, squish it into a teeny tiny ball, stick it in their raid message. And yeah, like I said, I'll let you guys know via Discord if I am able to stream later, or you'll just get the notification that I've gone live. But I'll try and keep you guys updated and let you know what's happening. Yeah, this sucks. This big sucks. But have a wonderful day, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Bye bye bye.